But next, I want to completely legalize hemp and cannabis. And
You're talking.
And I want to regulate them like onions.
Onions?
Like onions. I'm not joking. Like onions.
Why onions?
Here's the reason why. A lot of onions come out of New York. That's why.
Right.
Yes. So that's
and
why I
you
picked
can grow your
onions.
own onions and no one cares.
Bingo. Exactly correct. And here's the issue. There are 3 reasons why I want to legalize hemp and cannabis. And most people think, you want to get high. No, the only drug I use is cannabis. Is caffeine.
Oh, busted.
This is the
Look
only
at you,
drug.
Freud.
Yeah, I like that. Now it's about cannabis. No, but if I used cannabis, I would happily tell you.
Right.
So I don't have anything to hide.
Okay, why
I would
don't you use
happily
it?
tell you.
You ever use it?
Not my thing.
Do you get paranoid and worry about the school system when you get high?
I think I talk even more. I don't want to talk even more, do I? Nobody. I would
you
have.
might
I'd
not,
have
man.
No
You might
friends.
be introspective. You might sit back and go, God, I talk too much.
Yeah, maybe.
Have you ever done mushrooms?
Then
That's
I could
what
do this.
happens.
I've never done mushrooms. Never have.
When
No.
I do mushrooms, I feel like I talk too much.
So maybe I should try them one day.
You've never done mushrooms?
Never done mushrooms.
That makes me uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah, I'm
But
very
you're my
square.
age, right? How old are you?
I'm 50.
Yeah, I'm 51.
There we go.
You've never done mushrooms?
Never.
So somebody came up to you and go, Larry, you want to do some mushrooms? And you're like, no, man, one day I want to be governor.
That's what I was thinking. I was 7, and I thought, gotta be governor one day.
Jesus, who's
I
bringing
can't
mushrooms
do-
to a fucking 7-year-old?
No, that's
what
what I
kind of
was thinking.
psycho are you hanging around with?
You don't understand where I grew up. When I grew
get it.
where
Queens,
I grew
right?
up. No, I grew up in South Bronx.
Oh, even more crazy.
It was crazy. And there.
Do you know
and
Tim Dog?
I don't know who Tim Dog is. Sorry, I haven't
He's
been in
a
the Bronx
rapper
in many
from the
years.
South Bronx.
Sorry, I haven't been in the Bronx in many years. Apologize. But anyway,
It's a
what's it
very
about?
obscure reference. Mushrooms and marijuana.
Yes, thank you.
Right. And you've never smoked pot?
I have not. No,
Never.
never have.
What? The
Yes.
I can't
Never
get
have.
behind you, bro.
Sorry, never have.
What kind of square are you, dude?
I'm square.
No pot,
I am.
no mushrooms.
I don't even
you
do
ever
alcohol.
done acid?
Nope.
Do you want to try it?
Maybe one day.
What about right now?
No, not now. No,
Okay.
no. I'm running a campaign, my friend.
Oh.
Yes,
maybe
running
it'll help
campaign.
you. Maybe it'll help you.
Odds are no. Talk to me November 7th.
Okay.
November 7th.
Okay,
To be
November
forward,
7th.
I'm not against any of these things.
Right.
It's your body. You own your body.
Okay.
So if I
you
smoke
drink?
cannabis, no, I don't drink either.
You don't ever drink? Not even a beer?
Once in a while,
Glass of wine with dinner?
If people are around drinking, I'll drink.
Right.
But I don't have any alcohol in my house. I don't drink unless others are drinking.
Okay.
I'll socially drink. Again, I don't have any
I
problem with it.
understand.
Drink or
So
don't drink.
your focus for most of your life has been what? Business?
First, it was military. I was a Marine for 7 years.
And then,
And then it was business. Yes.
so
It
you're
was-
just keep your nose to the grindstone kind of guy? Get
yes.
things done?
How else could I do this? Have you seen my campaign? This is the last 3 gubernatorial campaigns in New York State combined didn't raise $10,000. Combined. I raised over $250,000 already. The last 3 gubernatorial candidates combined didn't do anywhere near the amount of stops I've made, and I still have 2 months left.
How much did Cynthia Nixon raise?
1.7, I think, million.
Million?
I
That
think
is
1.7.
crazy.
I think 1.7.
How many people getting behind Sex in the City?
A lot.
There's a lot of that menopause money out there, bro.
I need some of that, I
is.
guess. I don't know. Whatever it
floating
is.
around.
My point being, yes, nose to the grindstone. I'm doing this, of course.
Okay, I believe
Absolutely.
you. No
There's
mushrooms, though, huh?
no mushrooms. No. Maybe later.
No
Not
weed?
now. Wait till November 7th.
And then once you hit,
Then maybe. We'll
then
see.
maybe you party with me?
Maybe. If I win, I can't do it while I'm governor. That would be not cool. But
Marijuana, isn't it legal in New York State? No, still
it's
not.
not.
You have to
No,
have
it's
like
not.
serious diseases, right?
that's correct.
Medical.
And
Can you
you-
fix that?
Of course.
Why?
That's the point.
Yeah, that seems
Look,
really preposterous.
My whole point on cannabis and hemp is heavily because of farmers also, right?
Right.
The small farmers right
Particularly
now need
hemp.
Yes, particularly hemp.
because
Yes.
it's totally uncontroversial and it's a fantastic commodity.
It's good. It's good for the soil. It's good for the environment. And the best thing is if you treat small farmers like small businesses, they can now specialize. Meaning they can specialize in hemp and then also create products on their farm. They want specialized hemp products. They
Right.
can do that and create niche industries.
Right.
Right. And we see that in New York State with both coffee and breweries. We see it already happening in New York State.
and you would have the same sort of incentives for them to sell in New York.
Absolutely. Yes. So they can,
particularly hemp, which would be incredibly beneficial with zero controversy.
that's correct.
in
Yes.
terms of like psychoactive effects. It doesn't have them.
People would be very happy to do that, right? But cannabis too, because I want you to be able to create cannabis products. But
Right.
there's something else, and that is there are a lot of people in this country, but I'll talk about New York State specifically, who have chronic pain. And right now they have 3 choices. 1, an opioid and maybe get addicted. 2, suffer, which I don't accept. Or three, what people tell me, and for some reason, again, it's only been women who've told me this. They walk up to me and say, Larry, I hope you can legalize marijuana because I smoke a little at night so I can go to sleep.
What
I have so
about
much pain.
CBD? CBD is legal in your state?
No, it's not. I don't think so.
It's not.
I don't think it is.
Fucking A.
I don't. It's a good question. I don't think it is.
That's crazy.
It's probably medicinal. No, I'm sorry. It's probably medicinal.
CBD?
Probably that'd be my assumption.
But CBD has no psychoactive effects.
No, I know.
No side effects.
But it comes with cannabis.
Right.
So I think.
Well, Jamie's going to look it up real quick.
I think it's medical in New York State.
So
my
you have
point
to have
is,
some sort of a doctor's prescription to get CBD. Okay.
So my point is, if it's onions, you can grow it in your backyard.
Right.
Grow your medicine in your backyard.
Right.
If we
Carrots, tomatoes.
heavily regulate cannabis and or hemp, big business wins, small business loses. Guaranteed. It'll become big business cronyism. The small farmers collapse.
Right.
It's the wrong answer.
Right.
So we need to make that happen. And people are already smoking it. And maybe you don't want to smoke it. Why don't you have an edible? Why don't you have liquid? Why don't you have whatever's your thing? You don't have to smoke it. If you want to smoke it, please smoke it. But there's many ways of taking advantage of both THC and CBD, whichever you prefer. And look, it's your body, not mine. Yeah. And why in the world would I want you to have to live with chronic pain if you don't have to?
Right. Well,
I said it again, not about being righteous.
CBD, because CBD, again, is not psychoactive. Is it legal? Yeah. Okay. It is legal in New York.
There we go.
It's pretty legal everywhere, CBD, because of the fact that it doesn't have any psychoactive effects. And it's fantastic for people with arthritis. And so a lot of older folks are, I got Ted Nugent taking it. How about that? He's never even touched anything
Ted Nugent likes my
marijuana-related.
stuff.
Does he?
Yeah, he likes my Facebook stuff.
Well, one of the things that Ted likes is that you're a Second Amendment proponent.
I am. Very true. Yeah. What we can do is say something like this. I talk often about using our infrastructure in New York State as a way of raising money. We have bridges and tunnels and throughways and the Erie Canal, which is over 500 miles and about 3 dozen locks and lots of stuff like that, right? Why in the world do we have a bridge right now in New York State that's named after one of our previous governors called the Mario Cuomo Bridge? That's embarrassing. We literally have an imperial bridge named after our royal family. That bridge should not be named that. The bridge should be the Staples Bridge, the Verizon Bridge, the 3M Bridge, the Kellogg's Bridge, the Apple Bridge, whatever. We should be leasing the naming rights out. I'm a business guy. I want to retain the asset. We don't lose the asset. Lease the naming rights out, right? These are companies that pay billions of dollars every year in marketing, all the time. They drop $20 million for a stadium that gets used on the weekends. Instead, we have them pay $100 million for a bridge that's crossed by hundreds of thousands of cars every single day.
So you call it the Verizon Bridge.
The Verizon Bridge. Love it. Perfect. And it's mentioned hundreds of times every single day during rush hour in a 16 million person metro area. But here are the next pieces on top of that. Once he has the money, they're also responsible for the maintenance. We will still inspect the bridge, right? People say,
so
but Larry,
Verizon's responsible for the maintenance?
That is correct. That's part of it, yes.
So they have to pay you and they have to fix the bridge?
Bingo.
Who
yes.
Who the fuck is going to sign up for that?
All I know is I already have bankers already asking me about how long is the lease, what are we going to do? They already love it. Yes.
Really?
People already talking about it.
And they know that you want them to fix it
That's
too?
correct. Yes. Absolutely.
Holy shit.
But that'd be part of the contract. Again, I don't have to, and this is a common theme that you'll find that people don't like. And you don't seem to like it either, which is I don't have the answer for exactly what the contract is.
I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying, man, if I was Verizon, I'd be like, shit.
Yeah.
I'm paying you guys just to put my name on it. Now I got to fix this
Yes.
thing?
Then maybe, you know what? If you don't want to, maybe we negotiate and you pay a little bit less. Pay $90 million instead and fix the bridge. But I want you fixing the bridge.
Okay.
And there's a reason I want you fixing the bridge. Right now across our country, bridges collapse.
Concrete cancer.
Yeah, they all the time,
yeah.
Right? And why? Because the government has to run it, and the government runs out of money, or bureaucracy fails.
Right.
But in this case, we would actually have someone who has to fix it.
Yeah.
So we could actually check the bridge and say it's at a B, and a D is the lowest it can get to, as an example, right? It's at a B. Verizon refuses to fix it, goes to C. Verizon fix it now, or you lose the contract. and I guess now it's going to be the Sprint Bridge.
Right.
They have to fix it. The bridges will actually get fixed.
Okay. That makes sense to me.
I'm not even done with
I like
that.
this idea.
So yeah, that's one, right? So immediately at that point, we're getting money. The bridge is actually getting fixed. And here's the best part, the need for tolls. If you've been through New York State, you know we are the toll monsters. I mean, we are brutal. Horrible.
It's brutal.
Yes.
Didn't they establish those tolls under the false premise of once the bridge was paid off?
You got it.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Once they got addicted to that money, they said, well, we're never paying this bitch off.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So instead, no tolls.
That is so creepy.
Which means now those truckers that are paying $100 every time they cross that bridge, they pay by the axle, those go away.
Is it $100 every time they cross the bridge?
For a big truck, a trailer? Yeah. Because they pay per axle.
Dirty.
Yes, it's horrible.
That is so dirty.
They're paying tons of money every time they cross that bridge.
And if you if you could do that, you would win the governor.
I would hope so.
If you could figure out how to do that, you would become governor.
It's already the idea is not crazy. We already have
Has anybody ever brought this up besides you?
Never. We already have Adopt a Highway.
Fuck your education system. This shit would work.
See that? I got you on that one at least. All right. So I'll tell you what.
This one would work,
We'll
man.
work on this one instead. But here's a better part. I'm not even done yet. Not only are they paying for maintenance, which means we have lower spending because we're not paying for maintenance.
Right.
And here's the even better part. The less money I have to give out for these contracts, less corruption. Because I'm not giving out the contracts anymore. Verizon's giving out contracts.
How much money do they get, though, in the tolls every year? I would imagine it'd be bigger than $100 million.
No, it isn't.
It's not?
No. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. Yes. The tolls, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about billions. Yes, because in New York State budget, I always think of billions. I apologize. Yes, it's not 100 billion. But it's several billion. I think just New York City, if I'm not mistaken, is over 2 billion.
$2 billion a year in tolls.
Just New York.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That is so
Tons
dirty.
But that may
That's
include
all stealing
MTA.
from people. You can't drive unless you give us money. You
Yes.
want to cross this line, pay a tax, pay a tariff.
Yes.
Oof, that's so gross.
So it's tons of money.
We're so lucky here in California.
So we could raise that money. So to make I'll make your education happy. I'll take $4 billion off of that. I'll put it back into teachers, and the money's the same.
Well, how? But if you're taking
now,
the money
now you
away,
love me again.
I did not love you. I was just finding holes in your game. Now, when you're
no
talking
hole is,
about,
my friend. No holes.
Don't be silly.
No holes.
Don't be silly. There's some holes there.
None.
Come on.
None.
So when you take away all that money that people are paying on the tolls, $2 billion a year, how do you replace that? If they're paying $2 billion a year in tolls.
If we're getting $100 million
from
just
Verizon.
from one bridge. That's just one bridge.
Okay, how many bridges you got?
There's over a dozen just in New York City, just in the MTA. Ooh. And I didn't even count the Erie Canal that has 36 locks. We can name each lock, repair the entire Erie Canal, make it commercially viable without paying any taxpayer dollars whatsoever. And we have McDonald's could own one, but McDonald's on every single lock.
And the lock, these are for commercial boats?
Yeah, well, we can make whatever we want. Right now, the Erie Canal is run by the Parks and Recs, which it costs us about $100 million every year, including capital projects, to maintain Erie Canal. We make less than $5 million.
Have you crunched all the numbers on putting different advertising sponsors
you can't.
in all these different bridges?
You can't. And the issue, I mean, in theory, you will absolutely raise billions, that I'm sure.
In theory.
You will raise billions. The problem is you don't know which one goes first, which one is more valuable. You don't know how long negotiations will take.
Right.
You also don't know, will they take the throughways also, what bridge they'll take.
Right.
Some bridges may not be viable to be taken. So I don't know each one. Some tunnels they may not want to take. And then how fast will this catch on? You know, the advantage is...
you could do this with tunnels. You could do this with roadways.
Yes.
I mean, nobody gives a shit what the parkway is called. The Verrazano Parkway. It's not making anybody any money by calling it the Verrazano Parkway, right?
There's another idea. There's a I-81 in upstate New York, which is falling apart. So my idea for that is they're saying, well, how are we going to fund this interstate?
U-porn highway.
Well,
what if they're willing to give you the most money?
What I'd rather do with a highway, is have instead make it a Google road.
A Google road?
Yes.
Jesus. You're going to give those fucking people a grip on your state?
Oh, yeah. Well, look, if they want to give me a road, here's...
whole road?
Here is how it works. Okay. They get their own road.
They get their own road.
And they can make it a driverless car road. They can whatever they want.
Okay.
The rent for that is maintenance of the regular road.
Okay.
That's the rent.
That's it.
You maintain the regular road, for free.
I like it.
Right? You get to keep the next to it Google road. Now, people have an option. You want to drive in the driverless cars they come up with, or the driverless buses, or whatever they come up with. I don't care what they come up with.
Right.
You take it if you want to. If you don't, drive the regular road. If Google says, I don't want to pay for it anymore, they lose the Google road. Someone else buys it. Now it becomes an Amazon road or a, I don't care, whatever road. It becomes an Apple road, whatever.
Right. Whoever's willing.
It's fine.
See, that makes sense to me, and I like that because nobody really gives a shit what a road
That's correct.
is called.
Which is why you don't name the road. You give them a road next to it.
Right.
Right? That they can, but you can use that. They can use that road they want to just to transfer their goods for Amazon. It could be an Amazon hub that just moves Amazon products. Fine, I don't care as long as you maintain the regular road. Do what you want with the other road.
What other road is this again?
It could be an Amazon road where the only thing is it's a hub to move Amazon products back and forth. It's fine. Again, I don't have to know what this is. It's not required.
Okay, so
they will figure it out on what works for them.
That's an innovative way to generate income.
Absolutely.
The bridges, the roads.
Not even done. The MTA and the subway, right? The subway plan right now, the answer is the same thing. Just give them more money. No, I'm not going to be a hostage to the MTA either.
The T-Mobile subway.
No, not that.
No?
Instead, I don't want. No. Instead, because I don't think anybody will care about that anyway. The issue is all the rail lines. There are rail lines. The MTA crosses about 11, I think, or maybe even 12 different counties. I think it's 11 different counties. So it's all over. So and a lot of these lines, particularly at night, aren't used. So why aren't they freight lines? Let Amazon move its product from upstate New York into Manhattan on a freight line that's not being used at night. What's the fee for that? Fix the lines. Fix the lines. Fix them and maintain them.
Is that a viable alternative?
Yes, absolutely.
Have you run this by people? Would that make sense for them?
People already like the idea. Of course, yes.
Like
I live in New York City, right? I live in Queens. I work in Manhattan. I know lots of bankers, and I ask them these questions, and they all say, "Yeah, nice idea." Sometimes they say no to some stuff I say, but these they say they actually asked how long the lease would be on the bridge. They went that far. That's how much they like the bridge idea. You like the bridge idea too, obviously.
It's a good idea.
It's a good idea. They like it very much. Now, the MTA,
is this all your idea?
Of course.
I'm just gonna lock that shit down.
Why?
I'm gonna steal it.
Let them.
Cynthia Nixon.
Let them. Joe, you just came up with the reason why this is so important. Because win, lose, or draw, everything I'm talking about stays and will fix my state. People say all the time, Larry, what happens if everyone takes all your ideas? Good, I'll go home and go back to work. I can stop doing this.
So
I hope they steal all my stuff.
The only reason why you're doing this is just because you want to affect change in New York?
I don't. There are 3 reasons why. Number 1, I don't want to leave New York. And if New York doesn't change...
Do you ever go to North Carolina?
I have.
It's beautiful.
I know.
You try that barbecue?
I get it, and I don't want to go. So yes, stop teasing me. So yes, I don't want to go. That's
ever.
The number 1 reason is I want to stay in New York.
Okay.
Number 1. But also, I want to change the state for better, but even more, I can change the nation for better.
The other factor is psychotropic drugs.
Yep.
And these are 2 things that no one wants to talk about.
Correct.
And they're both real, and they're both facts. And why is it that you think that these are they're obvious facts that people want to ignore?
Because they don't actually want to fix the problem. Right? If you fix the problem, then you don't have controversy. If you don't have controversy, you don't have a left versus right paradigm.
Do you really think that's what it is?
Yes. First off, they don't want to touch they don't want to fix the problem. If you want to fix the problem of school shootings, right, there's 2 things to remember. As you've heard me say before, the school shooting, while it is a murder, at its core, it's actually a public suicide. And people don't understand that at its core, most mass shootings are public suicides. They would understand that. It's true. It's like death by cop, right? It's public suicide. So you have to make sure you have happier people. Right, but then why do they choose schools? Several reasons. One, because that's where their assumed enemies are. Right, the incels think that the bad guys and the bad girls are there. But something else, they're soft targets. The other thing you remember from all these school shootings is they're planned, and that's a critical aspect. You want to stop school shooting in New York State? You don't have to pass one extra law at all. You have to do one minor thing and one thing only, and that is say, if you are if you're licensed and you have a permit to carry a firearm, if you want to in school. You may, if you're a teacher or an administrator. If you want to, you may. That's it. You don't have to force a teacher to carry. You don't need a resource officer. Why? Because if you have a resource officer, which is what most Republicans will say, put an officer there, they'll just shoot him first. If you are Democrats, no guns. They'll shoot everybody. So if you instead say, well, I don't know who's armed. Is it an administrator? Is it a teacher? Is it everybody? Is it nobody? The planning goes away. Once there's no planning available, the school is no longer a soft target. They stop choosing the school.
Okay, let's unpack this. So you're saying that if you have an officer on the school that carries a gun and this person knows that officer has a gun, they will shoot him first.
Correct.
and that if just teachers are carrying guns, there's no way this person knows, and so they're less likely to shoot people.
There's two things. Here's the core of it. What's killing our children? It's not firearms. One of the, I think it was a Texas shooting, I think it was, before he stole the guns, he had put together and set up pipe bombs and pressure cooker bombs in case he couldn't steal the guns. So if he couldn't get guns, he was going to kill people anyway. The key thing here is what's killing these kids? Lack of community, lack of purpose, and loneliness. That's what's killing our kids. Those three things. Take those three things away, kids don't do that. You give a kid who's 16, 17, 18 purpose, he can't go off and kill people. He has something to do. He has a reason to live. Remember, this is a public suicide. If you have a reason to live and you think the right answer is to go do something, you don't kill yourself. If you don't kill yourself, there's no public suicide. Mass shootings all of a sudden are tremendously reduced. It's just how it works. It's human nature. You have to understand that. But if you do that, then there's no extra law. Then there's no one to point a finger at. You can't restrict guns. What I'm saying just makes actual sense.
This is where you and I break company, because I don't agree with that. I don't think that anyone is trying to keep these school shootings in the same state they are now. I think that there's two things. One, no one wants to demonize psychotropic drugs, and especially politicians. They have a really hard time with that.
Sure.
Because they don't want to tell people who are on psychotropic drugs that they're either suspects or suspicious or potential mass shooters.
New York State's showing you it's incorrect. We made the SAFE Act. And the SAFE Act literally says if you go on these drugs, you lose your firearm. So that's absolutely not true in New York State. It may be true in California. I don't know your laws here. But in New York State, the opposite is true. We've already done that. We have made our medical personnel part of our secret state police, which means if you go in and say, I'm feeling depressed, I need some drugs, I'm thinking about suicide, the state police might come by and take your firearms. That's already happening in New York State. And they now want to create red flag laws, which means a teacher can now do it. So now a teacher says, oh, there's a student who I see drew a firearm, he drew a gun, cops and robbers, maybe a red flag. Let me go to a judge and see if I can have the cops go and take his father's firearms.
I definitely want to talk about this, but I want to bring it back to what you said earlier. You don't think they want to fix the problem.
Yeah,
I don't think that's true. I just don't think they have a viable solution that they think is politically viable.
Perhaps, but I think my solution seems politically viable. People, everyone I say this to, they go, oh, wow, you're right.
Well, you are definitely right that they're lonely, sad people that are lashing out. And I think you're definitely right that in many instances it's a public suicide.
Yep.
And I think you're definitely right that the vast majority of them are on psychotropic drugs, which do have a disassociative aspect to them where they're not even sure they're aware of what they're doing. This is if you talk to people that have been on those.
Yeah.
Well, people that have been on these things don't mean anything anymore.
Right.
Like a car accident in front of them doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
People have various reactions to various SSRIs and antidepressants, but one thing that happens is you lose the highs and lows and everything is just flat.
You become numb.
Yes, and you become numb to almost anything that happens.
Absolutely.
And again, it varies depending upon the individual that's on these things.
Sure.
Part of that would allow someone to do something horrific, which they wouldn't be able to before.
Well, there's two things to remember here. One, I'm not concerned with being righteous. I'm concerned with happy New Yorkers and happy people. That's what I want. Righteousness is very low on my priority of things. So if that doesn't sound, if what I'm saying sounds bad, I'm okay. I want to fix the problem. The second thing is I'm not a politician, which means I don't have a career I have to protect. I don't have interests I have to serve. The average donor is $75. So I don't have a bunch of people who are writing me huge checks. So I don't have that concern either. So maybe in 4 years I'll be corrupt and you can beat me up on the show.
No, I don't think you're corrupt. I mean, I'm not saying that at all. Well, and I don't even think they're corrupt. I mean, I'm sure many of them are.
Sure.
But I think that there's things they don't feel like they can discuss politically. And I think one of those things is in any way demonizing people who are on antidepressants.
Because a lot of people are.
There's a giant percentage of people on antidepressants in this country.
Absolutely. Our opioid crisis is heavily based upon the idea that when you have pain of any type, physical, mental, the answer is not dealing with that pain, but the answer is a once-a-day pill.
Right, medication.
That is the answer for all of our pain. And because of that, you have a lot of people who are on drugs, and you probably know a stat, about 80% of all the people who are currently heroin addicts somehow started on someone's, not even always theirs, but someone's prescription legal drug. I mean, that was prescribed for either pain medication or something like that. Usually pain medication.
Yeah.
But other things too. You're totally correct. This is a problem. But what I'm saying is, this is what I talk about often. People say, Larry, you know, why should I vote for you? Why should I support you? Here's the reason why. Whether you believe I can win or not is actually irrelevant. If you think I can win, awesome, I can win. And to be forward with you, if I win in New York as a libertarian, the entire nation changes overnight. And that's not exaggeration. The entire nation changes overnight. This is the most impactful election, hands down, the entire nation, 20